In the early morning of January 20th, 2008, the city of Reno in Nevada was very quiet. Snow covered the sidewalks and the tops of houses, making the normal city sounds softer. Lights on porches stayed on all night, giving a soft, steady light over the empty streets. Most people were sleeping in their homes, not knowing that, just a few miles away, something very bad was happening. It seemed like a safe night, the kind where nothing surprising takes place. Brianna Denison was sleeping on a couch in the living room of a house she knew very well. She was staying with her friends. The door was locked tight. The neighborhood was one she knew. Everything about where she was made it seem like she was safe. She had not done anything risky. She had not gone out alone. She was supposed to wake up in a few hours and go to her class, keeping up with her usual daily plan that she had already made for herself. But sometime before the morning came, that feeling of being safe went away. There were no noises from a fight, no warning sounds, and no one in the house saw anything wrong. When the sun rose over Reno later that morning, Brianna Dennison was not there anymore, taken from a place where nothing bad was supposed to happen at all. Before her name showed up in news stories or in papers from the court, Brianna Michelle Dennison was a 19-year-old student at college who was still learning about life, just like most people her age. She was born on March 29, 1988, and grew up in Nevada, with a family that was close and always helped her. The people who knew her best said she was thoughtful and kind, someone who noticed others and always meant what she said. She was not loud or trying to get attention. She listened to people, and when she talked, it was easy to see that she cared about them. At the University of Nevada in Reno, Brianna was learning about psychology. She wanted to know how people think and why they act the way they do, especially when they are having hard times. Her friends said she had a calm way about her that made it easy to talk to her. She was careful, did what she was supposed to do, and was loved a lot by the people around her. Like many students, Brianna had schoolwork, a job she did part of the time, friends, and the normal worries of being a young adult. She laughed in a happy way, was there for people, and was just starting to think about what her life might be like in the future. In January 2008, she had been staying with friends at a house on McKay Drive, a quiet street with homes that was close to the school. It was not strange for her to do that. Friends at college often stayed over, especially in winter when nights were late and the weather was cold, so it was easier to just sleep where you were. The house was one she knew, and it felt comfortable. It had been full of talking and sounds earlier that night. To Brianna, it felt like a safe place. What happened after that had nothing to do with the choices she made or what kind of person she was. She was not picked because she was different or because she knew someone bad. She met someone who did not know her at all, someone who saw a chance and did something about it. That chance meeting is one of the hardest parts of this story to understand. Brianna was not chosen for any special reason except for being in that place at that time. And during the quiet hours before morning, her life ran into someone whose actions would stop it suddenly and without any good reason, ending all the things she had been working toward. Saturday, January 19, 2008, began in a normal way. Brianna spent the day doing what many 19-year-olds do, handling school tasks and enjoying the little freedoms of being young. That night, she went out with friends to have fun for her birthday. There was music playing, people talking, and lots of laughing. Nothing too crazy, nothing that was special or different. When the night began to end, Brianna made a smart choice. Instead of driving home late when it was cold, she went back with her friends to the house on McKay Drive. She knew the house well. She had stayed there before. It seemed like the safest thing to do. After midnight, the house got quiet. The lights turned off. The doors were locked. People went to their rooms. Brianna got comfortable on the couch in the living room, covered herself with a blanket, and fell asleep. She thought she would wake up in a few hours, pick up her things, and keep going with her day, just like before. If you're enjoying this story, kindly do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. It is free and won't cost anything, but it means the world to us. We're just a small channel trying to grow. Thank you. And back to the video. Sometime between 3 and 4 in the morning, that night turned bad, without anyone in the house knowing. Police think a man came close to the home when it was dark. There was no sign that a window was broken or a door was pushed open hard. Nothing showed a loud fight. No one sleeping inside heard any sounds. That quiet is important. Whoever came into the house moved in a careful and planned way. Brianna was taken from the couch while she was sleeping. She did not have time to call or send a message to anyone. Her phone stayed in the house. Her shoes were still in the spot where she had put them. When the person who did this left the house, Brianna Dennison was gone, taken from a locked home in a quiet area, leaving no clear mess, only the sudden disappearance of someone who should have been there. The morning came slowly. Sunlight came in through the windows. Alarm clocks made their sounds. People started to wake up, but at first, Brianna was not there. No one got scared right away. They tried to figure it out. Maybe she left early. Maybe she went to a place nearby. But as more time went by, worry started to grow. Her things had not been moved. Her phone did not get answered. Nothing about her being gone made sense. By the middle of the day, worry turned into real fear. The police were called, and what started as a report about a missing person soon became more serious. Officers looked through the house and the areas around it. Friends thought back to their steps from the night before, hoping something little had been missed. There was no easy answer. What became clear was that Brianna had not walked away on her own, and she had not decided to go missing. Something had been done to her, and the understanding that came after that would soon spread far past that house on McKay Drive, making a whole community feel shaken. Once the police were called, everything was different. This was no longer about someone being late or not checking in. Brianna Dennison had gone missing in a way that did not make sense. And with every minute that passed, the worry got more serious. Officers started at the house on McKay Drive, going through it in a careful way, room by room. Nothing seemed wrong. Furniture was not moved. There were no broken windows, no hurt doors, no signs that anyone inside had woken up suddenly. Brianna's phone was still there. Her purse was not touched. Her shoes were right where she had left them. To the police, that was something they noticed right away. People do not leave without their phone or shoes, especially in January, and especially without telling anyone. Officers checked streets nearby, small paths, and open places. Friends went over the night before again, remembering talks and where they went, hoping they had missed something small that could explain why she was gone. They found nothing. As hours became days, the work got bigger. Papers with her picture showed up all over Reno. People who wanted to help joined the police, looking in country areas, ditches, and big open lands outside the city. News on TV stopped normal shows, and Brianna's pictures started to show on screens all through northern Nevada. Her family waited, holding on to hope, while getting ready for what they were afraid might happen next. 3 days later, that fear turned into truth. On January 23, 2008, Brianna Dennison's body was found in a faraway place near Hidden Valley, southeast of Reno. The spot was far from the school, quiet, alone, and not visited much. Finding her body showed what the police had been worrying about more and more. Brianna had been killed. The news went out fast. The university did things right away. People gathered to remember her with candles. Some classes stopped. People who had never met Brianna felt sad with those who knew her well. What made many people upset was not just that she had been killed, but how it happened. She had not been out alone late at night. She had not been in a strange place. She had been sleeping inside a locked home. For many people, that truth changed how safe they felt. The police now had a new kind of hurry, not just to know what happened to Brianna, but to find the person who did it, and to see if that person was still around. They knew something big had happened there, that even if it was not clear at first, not every place where a crime happens looks like a fight. Some leave very little to see. Teams that looked at clues carefully checked the living room where Brianna had been sleeping. The couch, the floor, the furniture close by. Everything was written down and looked at in a step-by-step way. Each part was checked under bright lights, one area at a time. That is when they saw it. A single mark from a shoe. It was not easy to see. It was not walked across the floor or left in mud. Instead, it showed lightly on a piece of furniture near the couch. Once the police saw it, though, they knew what it was. The shoe mark did not belong to anyone who lived in the house, and it did not belong to Brianna. Police took pictures of it, measured it, and kept it as proof. The pattern on the bottom was clear. It was not a usual one, and it had enough details to help. It was the first strong sign that someone else had been inside the home. At the place where Brianna's body was found, police worked just as carefully. The area was written down fully, and teams collected clues from the body that let them make a DNA picture of an unknown person who committed the crime. For the first time, the case had a way to go. Someone had come into the house. That person had left a shoe mark, and DNA connected them to the bad act. But without a name, the clues only raised more questions. Detectives started to compare the DNA picture to the lists they had. They looked at times, searched for like events, and went to homes nearby, asking people if they had seen anything strange in the early morning of January 20th. Then police got a report that changed the case. Another woman told her story. She talked about an attack that happened just days before. Like Brianna, she had been taken in the early morning by a stranger she did not know. Unlike Brianna, she was let go and lived. She gave details about how the attack happened, helping police understand how the bad person acted. More importantly, DNA from her case matched the same unknown picture from Brianna's. That link changed all things. What first looked like one crime was now part of a bigger way of doing things. Someone was going through Reno in the early morning, picking strangers and leaving very few clues, but not nothing. With a matching DNA picture, a special shoe mark, and a woman who lived through it and could tell about the attack, police finally had strong things to work with. They were not just guessing anymore. They were getting closer. As police worked without making noise, life in Reno started to feel not the same. News about Brianna Dennison going missing, then learning she was dead, went out fast. What made people most upset was not just the bad violence, but how it happened by chance. She had not been walking alone outside. She had not put herself in a risky spot. She had been sleeping inside a locked house. For students at the University of Nevada in Reno, the story felt too close. Classes kept going, but it was harder to pay attention. Parents called more often. Friends made sure to walk together, even in the day. Lights on porches stayed on all night. Doors were locked, then unlocked to check, and locked again. Police added more cars to watch areas with homes, especially near the school. Detectives asked people to tell about anything that seemed wrong, even if it was small. In a case like this, they said, little things could be important. Inside the police work, there was another worry, making them do everything fast, in case it could happen again. The DNA link between Brianna's case and the earlier attack showed it was not just one time. The person who did it had attacked before, and there was no guarantee he would not do it again. That knowledge added a hard push to every step the police took. Detectives looked back at old reports, strange actions, tries to break in, and early morning meetings with women. They compared times, made maps of places, and looked for ways that might show where the bad person spent time or how he picked who to hurt. The story of the woman who lived became very important. Her telling of how the attacker acted, calm, in control, planned, showed someone who thought ahead and counted on surprising people. At the same time, people who checked clues kept running the DNA picture through lists. Some ideas led to nothing. Others gave hope, but then did not work. The community waited. With no one caught, fear stayed. Each night felt longer than the one before. Then, in the middle of February, police finally got what they had been waiting for. A DNA match came back with a name. The big help police had been waiting for came in a quiet way, after weeks of checking and comparing. The unknown picture connected to Brianna Denison's case was finally known. It belonged to a man living in Reno, James Biela, 27 years old. Up until then, he had not made people notice him. Detectives moved in a careful way from there. They did not catch him right away. Instead, they took time to make the case strong. They looked at his past, watched where he went, and worked to put together where he had been during the early morning of January 20th. What they learned made them worry a lot. Biela lived close enough to the University of Nevada in Reno to easily go through areas where students lived. He had a car, and he had no link to Brianna Dennison as a friend or anything. That last thing was important. It showed what the police had thought from the start. Brianna had not been picked for any particular reason. She had been chosen because she was there. If you're enjoying this story, kindly do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. It is free and won't cost anything, but it means the world to us. We're just a small channel trying to grow. Thank you, and back to the video. On February 14th, 2008, detectives did what they needed. James Biela was caught without any trouble. To most people, it looked like a normal catch on a regular day. For the police, it was the end of weeks of hard worry and not knowing. Papers to search followed soon. Inside Biela's home, officers found shoes that matched the bottom pattern found at the McKay Drive house. The size, how worn they were, and the look were the same as the mark near the couch where Brianna had been sleeping. Checking with clues showed what the proof already pointed to. Biela's DNA matched the body clues from Brianna Dennison, and also from the earlier attack on the woman who lived. For the first time, the case had a clear person. For Brianna's family, catching him gave answers, but it did not make them feel better. Knowing the person who did it was locked up did not make the loss smaller or change what had happened. Across Reno, there was a feeling of letting go. People felt safer knowing the person who did it was not free anymore. The fear had not gone away fully, but it was not just an idea. It had a name, and it was going to court. With James Biela locked up, the case went from police hands to the courtroom. This part was different. It was not about looking or guessing anymore. It was about showing what had happened, one step after another, in a place where people could see. For Brianna's family, it meant sitting and hearing details no mom or dad should ever hear. For the rest of Reno, it was the time the case became true in a way that news words never could. The people who brought the case built it in a careful and step-by-step way. They took the group of people who decide through the times of January 19th and early January 20th. Brianna was going back to her friend's house. The door was getting locked, and someone was coming in while she slept. They showed the real clues, the shoe mark near the couch, the DNA from Brianna's body, and how both were connected right to James Biela. The words from the woman who lived were in the middle of it. Her story matched the clues and helped explain how the attacks took place. She told about a stranger who used surprise and control, making stronger what the police thought, that the crime was planned and not by chance. The side that defended tried to raise questions about the times and order, but the clues were hard to argue against. The DNA link and the matching shoes gave little space for other ideas. As people who saw things talked in court, the room was quiet. Friends and police told about the night Brianna went missing and the days looking for her. Through what they said, the group who decides heard about Brianna, not just as someone hurt, but as a person, a young woman who was careful, kind, and loved a lot. In 2009, after thinking, the group made their choice. James Biela was said to be guilty of killing in the worst way, taking someone away, and hurting in a bad way. He was told to get the death penalty. For the Dennison family, the choice brought someone to answer for it, but not an end to pain. No choice could change what happened, or bring Brianna back. Her not being there stayed the same, and could not be fixed. For the community, the case left a mark that stayed. It made people question what they thought about being safe, and made them face how violence can happen without warning, even in places they know, even behind locked doors. When the court time ended and the room got empty, the law part was done. But for those who loved Brianna, and for many who heard her story, the effect of her death did not stop there. It became something they would hold with them long after the choice was made. Thanks for watching. If you like real police work, surprising cases, and when right is done, please subscribe, leave a comment, and join us as we explore more true crime stories.